You're still joining? Okay. In the meantime, if you want to open your cameras, say hello, introduce yourself, where you guys are from. Okay, before we start, I'm going to post in the chat the website of our program. Okay, so you guys can all visit it before we start. You're all welcome to, at any point, post your questions in the chat. Okay, at the end of the presentation, we'll come back and we'll read the questions out loud. Okay, so here's our website in the meantime. Here we go. Okay, this is my email address. If anyone has questions, you're welcome to also email me privately. Let me know when you want to start.
Okay.
Okay, as I said before, for those who are still joining, anyone who wants to open your camera and say hello and let us know where you're from, we're happy to for another minute or two before we start.
Hi, I'm Sandra Nelson, and I am from the US. I'm a student at University of Texas. And yeah, that's who I am.
Thank you, Sandra. I think we've been in touch. You already applied.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you in person.
Nice to see you.
Great.
Hello, my name is Sangeeta Paul. I'm from India, but at the moment I'm doing my master's at the University of Haifa in Holocaust Studies. And I think in next 6 months, I'll be graduated. And after that, I would like to do my PhD.
Okay, so you're interested in a PhD in Jewish studies?
Actually, since I didn't find the option on Holocaust, so that's why I selected Jewish studies, because I'm interested to do PhD on Holocaust and genocide studies.
Okay, but here you're going to hear information about a master's in Jewish studies, not a PhD.
Okay. So
if you want, you can leave our breakout room, go back to the main room, and you can ask there for them to help direct you to the right room for PhD.
Okay. Thank you.
Akira, do you want to get started?
Hi there, I'm April from Hong Kong, and I'm interested in the Bible study. And so I want to know more about the Jewish roots of the Bible. Yeah.
Great, thank you for joining. Anyone who also doesn't want to speak, you're also welcome to introduce yourself in the chat. And as I said, for the students who are new, who didn't hear before, you guys are welcome throughout the presentation. We're going to get started in a minute. And then we ask that you mute yourselves and just listen for the first part. But while we're speaking, first Dr. Paz and then me, you're welcome to post all of your questions in the chat. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to go back to the chat and read aloud the questions, and either I or Dr. Paz will answer.
Okay, I think we can start. So.
Okay, so let me just, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, so I'm Yakir Paz. I'm the academic head of the program, the Master's Studies of Jewish Studies, and my field is Talmud or Rabbinic literature and classics. So I'll now just give you a short presentation about the program itself, and then Amy will add a few more administrative aspects. So let me just see if it all works. So can you all see this? Amy, can you see it? Is it? Okay, great. Okay, so let's just give an overview of what is the MA in Jewish, or why an MA in Jewish Studies. So the main purpose of our program is to deepen your understanding of Jewish civilization and culture from ancient times to the present, and to learn with top researchers. And we have at the Hebrew University's top researchers in all the fields of Jewish studies, from from Bible till modern Israel. So you can learn with all of them and build a solid base for further academic study in the field. And obviously, one of the main attractions is that you get to live in Jerusalem, which is a city, as you know, steeped in more than 3,000 years of Jewish history and home to dozens of religious sites, library, archive, museums, research institutes, and nonprofit organizations. So there's a lot to do, whether you're interested in ancient Judaism, archaeology, study of the Bible, or if you're interested in more modern aspects. And obviously, there's also a lot to do with the dialogue between Jewish, Christian, and Muslim religions. The MA in Jewish Studies is offered in conjunction with the Mandela Institute of Jewish Studies. Actually, the buildings are actually quite adjacent, so close to each other, and which is the hub of research since 1924. The Mandela Institute is responsible for overseeing all teaching departments and research centers devoted to the pursuit of Jewish studies at the Hebrew University. Just to give you some idea of the breadth or the variety of programs that we have in the Mandela Institute. So it is affiliated with over 20 smaller research institutes. Among them, one of the more renowned ones, world-renowned, is the Orion Center for the Study of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And the work in this center affects areas such as biblical studies, Jewish literature and thought on the Second Temple, early Christianity, and the New Testament, the study of early rabbinic Judaism, and more. So that's, and obviously in Jerusalem, we at the Israel Museum, we also house the biggest collection or the most important collection of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So people who are interested in that field, this is definitely the best place to study. And just other Jewish studies research centers at the Hebrew University, just a few examples: the Steven Spielberg Jewish Film Archive, the Vidal Sassoon International Center for the study of anti-Semitism, the Franz Rosenzweig Minerva Research Center for the study of German Jewish culture, cultural history, thought, and literature, and the Jewish Music Research Center, and obviously the many more. Students also benefit from a Hebrew University academic resource. That's the National Library of Israel, which is now going to be moving into a new site just by the Knesset, the Israeli parliament. And that's one of the most important libraries for Jewish studies, and houses also a lot of very important manuscripts. So just a short program overview. So it is offered by the Hebrew University Rothberg International School and the Mandela Institute of Jewish Studies. And it's designed to prepare you for an advanced academic degree in the field. The program will expand your knowledge of Jewish history, literature, philosophy, and culture, and enhance your language, research, and writing skills. And you'll also enjoy an intimate learning environment with small classes taught with experts or by experts in the field. And what I want to emphasize in the next paragraph is that it's a very flexible program. So you have, we have very few core courses which you must take, but the rest you actually have a very large number of elective credits. Some of them we offer ourselves as part of courses designed specifically for the program, and others you're also able to take courses in English or if you can in Hebrew, given in the Hebrew University itself, so even outside of the program. And the program itself is divided into two main periods: ancient to medieval, to early medieval, and late medieval to modern. So you need to take primary or introductory courses to both periods, but after that you can choose to focus on a specific period. So the structure of the program consists of required and elective courses taken over 2 academic years, so that's 4 semesters. You will take, although as I said, you can take courses from all time periods, you will eventually be required to specialize in one in the period which interests you the most. So the elective courses, meaning the courses you can choose completely, I mean, based on your interest, includes cross-listed courses also from other programs. So we're the only program which actually enables you to take courses from different programs. And not only, we offer enough courses in our own program, but we also enable you to take courses from other programs depending on your interests. So you can take, there's a program of Bible and Ancient Near East, you can take courses from there. You can take courses from the MA in Israel Studies, the MA in Islamic and Middle Eastern Studies, and also other programs. And as I said, you can take also courses given at an MA level from various departments of Hebrew University. So also courses which are actually courses of the university and not designed only for international students. And again, if you do reach a high enough level of modern Hebrew, we can also enable you to take courses in Hebrew at the Hebrew University, which would give you obviously a huge amount of possibilities. And the credits, so it's an MA. It consists of 36 credits over 4 consecutive semesters. So just about the language requirements. So you will be required during the 2 years to pass the level Gimel, which is the lower intermediate, in order to complete the degree. So part of the degree is actually reaching a high enough level of Hebrew. And the modern Hebrew courses are taken to fulfill the above requirements. They do not count as credits. So you get that in addition to the actual courses you are taking. And we encourage you to try and reach the level already at the end of your first year of your studies, so you can actually take advantage of a second year to improve your Hebrew and to actually do reading courses. As well as the modern Hebrew, which is compulsory, meaning you have to reach a certain level of modern Hebrew, we also encourage you to take other languages, and this is open to you don't have to, but this is open to your, it's open to you. And with, consulting with me, you can choose if you want other ancient languages. You can do Biblical Hebrew, you can do Literary Arabic or Akkadian. These courses are also given in English, so that depends on your interest. You can actually improve your competence also in other fields. So that's my overview. I think Amy will give her side, the administrative side, and then we'll be happy to hear your questions. So let me just stop the share. So Amy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen as well. 1 second. Okay. Can everyone see?
Yes.
Okay. So just to move a little bit quickly through the more technical, practical side of the admissions process. So tuition, first of all. This is a 2-year program, as we mentioned. Tuition is $6,000 for every year, so it comes out to a total of $12,000 US. Scholarships are available. We have merit-based scholarships, we have need-based scholarships, and we also, anyone who's interested can send me an email afterwards. We're actually also working to put together a brochure of a much more expounded scholarship information to give students all of the information that we have about scholarships through the Rothberg International School, through the Hebrew University, and also external scholarships, as well as other tips that we've put together over the years from students about working remotely, about getting a work visa, about student loans and things like that. Okay, so that you're welcome to email me about afterwards. How do you apply? So we have the application link right here. Everyone needs to fill out the application form and submit it. The way it works is that once you submit your application form, I receive it within 24 hours. Okay, within 3 business days, you will be receiving an email from me confirming that we received your application and giving you a list of the documents that we received and that are still missing. When you are actually submitting the application form, you have the option to upload a couple of the documents, but there are some more that we need later. Okay, so the ones that you can submit right at the beginning are your CV and your statement of purpose, and I believe your passport. But afterwards, we're also going to need 2 recommendations. We're going to need your transcript, a medical form. Okay. Another word about the recommendations, just to avoid any confusion, when you're filling out the actual application form, we ask you to type in the names and email addresses of 2 recommenders, and we contact them. Okay, so you don't need to contact your recommenders. What are the admissions requirements? So everyone needs to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited university. If you're not sure, I think we're a small enough forum afterwards, we can open this up to questions. You can also email me if you're not sure if your university is accredited. With a minimum 3.2 average, that's the US scale out of 4. Okay, it's roughly equivalent to a B, an 82 out of 100, more or less. So that's that. A TOEFL exam score of 80 or above, or an IELTS exam score of 6 or above. Again, we can open it to questions more or less in terms of the exemption from this. Students who studied at a university in which the sole language of instruction is English can apply for exemption. And we're also going to ask for a CV and a statement of purpose and 2 academic recommendations. Okay, for students who've been out of school, 1 professional, 1 academic, that's also fine. In addition, these are the academic documents that are reviewed by our admissions committee, but we also ask you for a copy of your passport for entry purposes and also for a medical form. And US citizens need to submit a disclaimer form. So the application deadline is March 31st, 2022. We will be accepting applications on a space available basis until August 31st. Just keep in mind that there is a penalty fee for applying late. The application fee, I believe, is $220 instead of $120. There is a penalty fee for applying late. Okay, so just a word about student life, and then we're happy to hear from you. So you heard Idan Sharon speak in the beginning of the presentation. He's our graduate community coordinator. Okay, so you more or less heard from him what to expect in terms of student life when you get here. We have 1 student life coordinator who's himself a graduate student. He's an Israeli graduate student, and he sort of builds a graduate community of all of our students, not just in the MA in Jewish Studies, but all of the students at the graduate level at the Rothberg International School. So we're talking about some 300 students per year. And he organizes trips around Israel and lectures, Shabbat and holiday meals, activities with Israeli students, just to give you a sense of what student life looks like. So our MA programs are all small. Okay, we try and cap them off at around 30, 35 students. But we have 7 MA programs. Okay, and in addition to the MA students that we have who are pursuing a full MA here, they are joined by exchange students who are coming for 1 semester. They're doing a master's degree at a different institution abroad, visiting researchers, like individual non-degree students who are sort of like exchanged, but they're not coming within the framework of an exchange agreement. So you're joined by all different other graduate level students, and together the Division of Graduate Studies has about 300 students per year. So when we talk about student life activities, that's what you can expect. But in the classes, more or less, and Dr. Paz can confirm, more or less the classes are small, between 15, 20, 25, 30 students. On-campus housing is available. You saw pictures of it before. It's on the Scopus Student Village. Just to reiterate, every student has their own bedroom with a shared kitchen, living room, and bathroom. So that is the end of my presentation. I'm gonna stop my screen share, and you're welcome. We're happy to hear from you. I see someone, we have a question in the chat. I'll read it, and then somebody's raising their hand. So April writes, if I'm taking the Modern Hebrew online level 3 at the Rosen School, does it equal to level Gimel? It's a good question. So all of our students, all of our applicants need to take the online placement exam. Okay, if you apply to our program, as soon as you apply, when I email you within those 3 days, I'm gonna confirm that we got your application, send you a list of the documents that we received, those required, and in that email is going to be a link to an online placement exam. You take the placement exam, and your level is basically determined by that. Okay, okay, so there is a student who is raising his hand. Okay, you can unmute and go ahead with your question.
Hi, my name is Paris. I'm from the US. I
Hi.
have a couple of questions. The first question I have is, do y'all have any online classes that you can do to complete your master's? I am a former Duke University student, and I'm interested in, and I had already started, I completed 1 year of a master's in Christian practice degree, and I'm kind of looking to finish that. I didn't know if it, I know, I guess I would have to meet with a counselor or something about that, but to see if my credits would transfer to complete a study with you all. Is that something that you all have, an online course in this particular field of study?
So starting next year, meaning starting in the fall of 2022, all of our programs are going to be in person only, not online. So all of our students are going to be required to come. In terms of using credits that you have from a different degree towards our degree, Dr. Paz can elaborate in a minute. Basically, our policy is that we basically, it's something we can be in touch with this, one-to-one afterwards, but basically we would need to see your transcripts. We would need to assess the kind of courses that you took and, which of them could match up. And there is a certain cap on the number of external credits that we can use. Dr. Paz, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, again, as Amy said, we need to consider every case individually, but in general, this is a program of Jewish studies. So, I mean, the main purpose is to actually get knowledge of Jewish history, literature, philosophy over from the ancient period to the modern period. So it will be a bit difficult to accept credits which had to do mainly with Christian studies. But again, if you had done some courses about the Bible or rabbinic literature, we can consider it. I mean, based on the content of the course, but only very few will recognize only very few of those courses, because this is an MA program which is integral. I mean, we do want people to learn the entire program here and to try and get the full scope of what we are offering here.
Thank you, I understand.
Great. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, my name is Jörn Heidrich. I am from Germany, and I was for a long time in Berlin with Tali Lan. I guess Dr. Paz, you're knowing her?
Yeah, I know. Well, yes.
Yeah, and she became through the years a very good friend of mine. I was there in the program, of course, Jewish Studies, Madei Yahadut. And my question is there a possibility if some courses I already attended there in master programs, is there a possibility that they can be credited in your program, maybe?
So I think in your case, since you were doing Madei Yahadut Jewish Studies, we might very well recognize some of these courses. So I mean, okay. I think that would be best if you're interested, you can send me the information and the courses you've done. We can have a Zoom conversation to discuss the exact details. But in general, yes, because these programs are quite similar in some ways.
Yeah, I remember there is a tight partnership, but since this lockdown and stuff like that, a lot of stuff blowed away, and for me it was private research, and I lost a lot of money because of that, and so I had this pause, and it is to think about another chance, but definitely not in Germany anymore. And I was very, very often in Israel, and this is just because Tal said to me, "Oh, you attended in so many courses of mine. Maybe there is a possibility. Ask." And this is the first time I see you. And
okay, so I mean, I think Amy can put my email, and you can contact me directly, and we can discuss the exact details.
Yes, I'll post that now. Hold on. One second. Just one note, and then I'm going to read the questions that have popped up in the chat in the meantime. It's just important to note for anybody who is interested in having credits transferred from a prior degree or like that they did before, it's important that Hebrew University will only recognize credits that have not been used towards any other degree. So that's just important. If students have done similar degrees in similar fields, if those credits were ever used towards a degree, we can't use them again. We can only sort of use free floating credits. Okay, so Sandra is asking, could you forward me the link to, I'm sorry, it was a private message, but it's relevant for everyone. The Modern Hebrew online study. So Sandra, do you want to just tell us, were you talking about we have Modern Hebrew in different formats. Everyone who joins the program is going to be required to complete level Gimel in order to graduate. And like we said, Gimel is the lower intermediate. We have Hebrew courses during the autumn and spring semesters. They're usually offered 3 mornings a week, and it usually comes out to about 10 weekly hours. In addition, we have something called a summer ulpan, which is intensive Hebrew training the summer before your program starts, or the summer in between the 2 years. What's important to keep in mind, it's a very intensive program. You come, it's about 2 months long. I think it's 4 days a week for like 5 hours a day. But it's not included in the tuition of the program. It's a summer program. So I'm going to post a link here to our Hebrew. I'm going to post 2 links. One to the regular autumn and spring semester courses, which is included in the Jewish Studies tuition, and one to the summer ulpan, which may be relevant for students who want to come early because it gives them the ability to sort of get a head start in Hebrew. Again, the advantage of getting a head start is that the sooner you have a higher level of Hebrew proficiency, the sooner you can start taking courses in Hebrew, immersing yourself in a Hebrew language environment, getting to know Israeli students. Just 1 second. So I'm going to post the links here. Okay, this is the main link to our Hebrew programs. And here is the link to the summer ulpan. Okay. Okay, and there was another question. The Rosen School Hebrew classes utilized for language credits. Okay, that's something else. Okay. I'll come back to that. Can you mention the compulsory courses? Dr. Paz, do you want to, I believe we only have 2 compulsory courses.
Yeah, so the two compulsory courses are, as I mentioned, the one has to do with introduction to to literature or history from the ancient to the early medieval period, and the second is from like late medieval to the modern period. So these are the core courses which every student has to take, but there are only 2, so that's 4 credits, and which gives you, we as I said, we offer courses which are designed for the program, other courses, but they're not compulsory. So those who want to follow the closed program can, but other students who already know what they're interested in or want to try other fields are encouraged to take other ones. So those 2 courses are compulsory, but the rest are elective.
Okay, let's see what else. Okay, I don't have any questions in the meantime. You guys are welcome to post. I just want to take a second to talk about COVID. We haven't spoken about that. So we, obviously the pandemic is almost 2 years old, more than 2 years old, I think at this point. It sort of struck in Israel in the beginning of our year during the inter-semester break. Immediately, we started hybrid courses, which were both in person and online. Since then, we've been offering hybrid mode courses. The next year, like I said, classes are going to be in person only. But we really have tried to, over the past 2 years, provide a higher level of assistance in helping students navigate the processes that they need to go through to get the student visa. We have somebody here in the admissions office always taking questions about that. Basically, once a student is accepted, he or she needs to go to the local Israeli consulate in their home country. And that's how they apply for a visa to get into Israel, a student visa. So we provide assistance with that. And we also really take the utmost precautions that we can to protect our students, obviously our staff, our faculty. That said, we don't require students to be vaccinated in order to join the program. But students who are not vaccinated need to be prepared to be tested every so often in order to, ensure that, everybody is safe and is feeling comfortable. Okay. What else? Okay, so I don't see any other questions. Dr. Paz, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I think, but anyone who wants to ask a question now.
Yeah, now.
We have a few more minutes.
Okay, again, also.
You have,
Yeah, go ahead.
you have a question, Jon? Oh, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you. It's just a question of interest. Yeah, because I saw him, Daniel Schwartz, and he is also giving lectures, because I'm very interested in this.
Danny Schwartz, yeah, he might be giving. Professor Danny Schwartz, not the student Danny Schwartz who spoke earlier.
Oh, I don't. I attended later. Sorry, I saw just.
Yeah, no. So there was a student, but yes, the Professor Danny Schwartz is still giving. He's still here and giving courses. I mean, he's close to retirement, but it's
very glad. I was very glad to see him speaking. That he spoke to us, and I read a lot of because I was involved in Josephus, and once he was interested in one of my works, but I never finished it, and it was not possible to give him. But to see him makes me a good feeling to have this special touch to him. Maybe so this is my question. He's still giving lectures, yes?
Yes, I mean, he's close to retirement, but I think he'll be still giving. He'll still be giving lectures, and he's again one of the leading scholars we have at our university. He's an expert, for those who don't know, in Josephus and Second Temple Judaism, but we have also other both established and young professors who cover more or less the variety of all forms of Judaism throughout the centuries.
Okay, so again, we'll yeah, go ahead.
Hi, just a quick question. Just wanted to know, in the program, are you able to work with designing a little bit more movement as far as what you're really seeking to get out of the program or to do as your future work with your degree? For instance, I study fine arts and humanities, and I see that, and I want to utilize Jewish studies as a backdrop to build on the fine arts, and also how to develop that from the backdrop of Jewish studies in ancient Israel. It's kind of work. Do we actually have movement to work with the professors to help develop the type of MA we're wanting to really move within, or is it pretty much set?
No, so again, I mean, we do also have quite a few professors for Jewish art, both ancient Jewish art and modern Israeli art. And maybe, I don't know, some of these courses might also be given in English, but anyway, you can actually, once you're in the program, approach them and discuss some of these, I mean, your research questions. So there's a strong department, history of art department here with experts, especially in Jewish art. So.
Again, and just to reiterate what Dr. Paz said and what we said in the slideshow, is that the advantage of this program is that it is an open program. So your students are only limited in language, in the sense that, we have a large number of courses in English, like he said, in all different areas of Jewish studies, many more also offered in Hebrew, and that's the goal of the program, that it is enabling students to sort of take it, obviously, with the approval of Dr. Paz, who's the academic advisor of the students, but it is an open and flexible program.
Paul, you have a question?
I do. Thank you very much. I'm so excited to be on this platform. I'm a lecturer here in Nigeria at the Theological College of Northern Nigeria in Bukuri, Jos, and I teach some courses related to Jewish studies, and I'm passionate about studying Jewish studies. And I teach courses like Introduction to Judaism and Jewish Thought, and the Bible, Biblical Archaeology, and I also teach archaeology and the Bible. And I do teach a few other courses that are related. I don't know, do you have any problem with age brackets in terms of studies in your university?
No. No, we have no.
Okay,
I mean,
are you accept it? You have no age limit.
no age limit.
Okay, fine. So if someone is interested and would want to have a good idea of Hebrew to be proficient and to be qualified to come over, how long will it take the person, and what support could you give?
Amy, do you want to?
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, how long does it take to become proficient in Hebrew through our system? Is that correct? That's
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
So we offer 6 levels of Hebrew, Aleph through Vav. Each semester, each of those 6 levels takes 1 semester to complete. In some cases, depending on how much prior knowledge you have at Aleph, sometimes Aleph can take 2 semesters. But if Aleph takes 1 semester, okay, then it takes 6 semesters to complete level Vav, which is the advanced. The MA program is 2 years, so it's 4 semesters long. Okay, that means that you can't theoretically complete the advanced level within those 4 semesters. However, if you choose to take the 2 summer ulpans, meaning the summer before you start, and then autumn and spring of the first year, the summer in between the 2 years, and then summer and spring, autumn and spring, that comes out to 6. So if you wanted to become fully proficient in modern Hebrew, you would need to keep in mind that you would need to come about 2 to 3 months early, because our summer ulpan usually starts in August. And you would end on time, but you would need to stay over the summer in between the 2 years. The other thing to keep in mind is just financial. The summer ulpans, like we said, are not included in the MA tuition. And in addition, Hebrew courses above level Gimel is not included in the tuition, so it entails payment of an extra fee. So Aleph, Bet, Gimel, the first 3 levels, those are included in tuition. Dalet, Hey, Vav, that's already not. But again, we do offer scholarships. You're welcome to contact me privately. And just to comment about your question about the age limit. So the median age of our students is more or less between 25 to 30, but we always have a number of students pretty much in every program from, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and above. So that, and you're welcome to also follow up with either of us. I see that we have another, I think this is for you, Dr. Paz. Maggie is asking, do any elective courses cover Holocaust studies?
Halakha studies?
Holocaust
studies, yes, definitely. I mean, we do, I think there's quite a few Holocaust programs at the university, and some of them are given in English. Some, I think we even give through our own programs, through the program itself, but there's definitely quite a few courses given in the Vidal Sassoon Center for Anti-Semitism. There's quite a lot of courses and lectures on Holocaust. So I think if someone has Holocaust as their main point of interest, we can cater to that and help them find a good few courses focusing on that.
Okay, April is asking, how about the biblical Hebrew proficiency requirements?
So, I mean, to graduate from the program, you don't need to have biblical Hebrew proficiency. That's we enable that. I mean, we encourage students who are interested in the Bible to take the courses in biblical Hebrew, which are given in English and which are on a high level. There is a program for biblical study where that is the main focus. But the program here is not in biblical studies, but it enables a focus on biblical studies. So alongside the other core courses, you can focus if you want on biblical studies, and we will enable you to also register to the biblical Hebrew, but you don't need to reach a certain level of proficiency, because that's not, at least not required. I mean, you can reach the level of proficiency you are interested in, but not as, we don't demand it as a minimum, as a minimum for completing, for graduating.
April, just keep in mind when you're, so we, at the Division of Graduate Studies, so we have an MA in Jewish Studies and MA in the Bible in the Ancient Near East. So obviously we didn't talk about the Bible in the Ancient Near East here. Just keep in mind, if you're interested, you can email me also privately. I'm happy to provide you with information. Just keep in mind that if you do join the MA in the Bible, intensive Akkadian study is also required. So just keep in mind, some students, would rather focus on modern Hebrew and biblical Hebrew rather than biblical Hebrew and Akkadian. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so Paul, great, he's sending his email, excellent, no problem. I will definitely send you an email to follow up. I'm just gonna copy that down, no problem. Excellent. Okay, anyone else? Okay, I see we have about 2 minutes left. So we both would like to thank everyone for joining.
Thank you very much.
There's one more question. Is there an overlap with Jewish education? You're talking about the Jewish education program, I assume. Dr. Paz, are you familiar with the blended masters in Jewish education?
I don't think there's a real overlap. I mean, we don't cover that. Again, if some people have more interest in Jewish education, it's possible to take a few courses from there. But in general, the programs are very much, the focus is very different. Our orientation is more towards literature, theology, philosophy, and philology. So it's not orientated towards Jewish education. But again, it is a possibility to take a few courses from there, but that's not the main focus of our program.
Okay, and just last question, Sandra, how long would it take for a student visa to be granted? Good question. It usually takes about 4 weeks. We usually tell students to expect about a month of processing, but it's best to start the process a little bit earlier. What happens is that the consulates usually issue a visa for a period of a year. So you don't want to apply too early, because then your visa is going to expire in the middle of the program. Which actually it will anyway, because it's a 2-year program. But still, you don't want to apply too early, but obviously you don't want to apply too late. So we usually tell students to start, getting the ball rolling about 6 weeks before they plan to travel, even 2 months before they plan to travel, reaching out to the Israeli consulate where you are, asking to set up an appointment. Sometimes it can take a few weeks to get an appointment. Asking which documents you'll need to bring. Sometimes some consulates will ask for a special letter in addition to your acceptance letter, so you want to make sure that you let us know in advance if we need to issue something like that. So about 2 months before is a good time to start getting the ball rolling, but to actually submit your application, usually 4 or 5 weeks before. You shouldn't need more than that. Great. Okay,
so I think we're out of time. Thank you very much, Amy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And again, you can contact both Amy for administrative questions, and you can also contact me directly if you have any questions about content or about different directions you want to pursue. So
I'm just going to post my my email and Dr. Paz's email one more time. And 1 second.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Thank you. Thank you, Yakir.
Thank you, everyone.
Shalom.
Toda rabba.
Thank you for
Toda
joining.
rabba. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Good.